Hi kids. Well, it's back by popular demand. I think the last video I did on this was several months ago. Somebody asked me in the comments if I was ever going to finish it, so yes. So finally getting back to it. Changed my mind on one thing. I just have this mocked up. It's all just kind of sitting here, just, you know. Did not like the gold, whatever you want to call it, hammer finish, wrinkle finish. Didn't like it. So I went back, and this is just a regular factory RCA top plate in that, you know, dark gold that they painted them. It's original. I'm not repainting it. I'm just going to take it warts and all, because this thing is, you know, I dinged it up back here, you know, and over here, and it's kind of warts and all, you know. I'm trying to make it look as nice as I can, but it's certainly not going to be restored. It's just going to be, I guess you'd call it, refurbished. So I decided just to go with the factory top plate. The wrinkle finish paint was too heavy, and it chips too easily. This stuff is baked on here, and it's not bad. You know, there's no major needle dig. There's a little tiny, you know, something there, right there, that I've managed to minimize as much as I could. And the scuff over here from the switch isn't too bad. It's just mocked up. So I'm just trying to make it, you know, nice as I can. Tone arm, I might have to replace it with a different one, because this one's got some tape residue. I might have to soak it in some Goo Gone or something, or just swap it for a different tone arm. Sorry, I had to stop my video because FedEx showed up. Anyway, tone arm, talking about that. Gonna get that cleaned up or just swap it. I've got enough of these where if I need to just swap it for a better one, I will. Probably be the easiest thing to do. Although it would be nice to keep these wires in here with these clips, because I'm going to try and reuse the original cartridge. You know, most of these have this style of cartridge, this old crystal flat, you know, needles right there, that horizontal piece right there, and then you have the guard, you know, and they just drop in there like that, you know. But this one has this cartridge, which appears to be ceramic, not crystal. And I've tested this, and it actually works. You get output. It's pretty good output, I'd say. It seems to be an astatic 442. And it says on there that you should use astatic G needle. And what I found out looking on the Voice of Music website, you can still get them. So I have a brand new G needle for this with the 0.7 mil stylus. So if you really, you know, this cartridge is not stereo compliant. It's mono. But if you really want to play a stereo record, it'll have the right needle in it to do that. See? Astatic N29 Type G. Still make them. So that's good. So we're going to do that. So that'll be nice. I won't have to monkey with putting together a modern cartridge. You know, I won't have to try and take one of these modern cartridges, these modern stereo jobbies, and make it fit in there. So anyway, we'll be working on that as we go along. We'll be working on rebuilding the changer finally, because I haven't done anything except put the cycle cam in place. That's the only thing I've done. So we'll get that put together. Got my new idler wheel. Got my new rubber snubbers for the motor. There's the motor and the amp. You know, it's all, you know. I think the bottom is sitting over on the shelf there, but that's the only thing that's not here. I've got the knobs here somewhere. I just saw them a minute ago. Oh, there they are. You know, there's all the fasteners and the knobs. We're all set. So anyway, just setting this video up. We'll be moving right on. Probably going to move on to cleaning. Get rid of that nose. Cleaning this, because you can see probably that is pretty corroded in there, or at least pretty dirty with old grease or whatever. So we're going to clean that up and then put the record dropping mechanism back together, the knives and shelves, and get the nose on there for good. Maybe I want to try to polish this up a little bit. It's pretty scuffed, but I kind of like the bright red nose. This is the one that came with it, so I'm going to stick with it. I like the bright red one. It looks nice. So anyway, keep watching. We're not going anywhere. This is just the introduction. Hi kids. This will actually be sort of a take two. decided to do this video over again. I wasn't happy with the way it came out the first time. Working on the record dropper, where you see I've got my spindle and turntable. It's all put together. It's working well enough. But I just noticed that this turntable has damage. Got some pieces missing. Lighting's not the best. It's nighttime. I'm sorry, I'm out here at night. And if you look at the other side, I can see that it's cracked in here. So take my word for it. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take it back apart and we're gonna redo this video, and I'm gonna use a different one. Okay, we'll start from scratch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this apart, and you want to take this apart. Here's how you do it. Inside there are 2 screws and 2 washers, and you take a fairly long standard screwdriver, a small one, and you take those screws out. And I keep my little finger under the nose so that everything doesn't fly apart when I do this. Just kind of hang on to everything a little bit. Take those screws out, or try to. There we go. Okay. And there's one. There's the other. Okay. These fairly long screws with a washer. Okay, and then this can come off, and that's exactly what I wanted right there, because what I want to do is show you that. Okay. Before it all flies apart, because it's trying to, let me grab this and get my hand out of the way. Sorry about that. Show you that. Okay. There's your knives and shelves and that triangle shaped spring that sits on top, and that flat part that you see inside that triangle shaped spring is the other end of this shaft down here. So I'm going to set that, okay, set that there, and put this back, okay? And everything basically came apart, well, not basically, but anyway, it started to come apart when I put it over here. So I'm going to take all my parts, and we're going to do this the right way this time, because it didn't come out so great last time. So I have, okay, so this one, unfortunately, I'm not sure what happened. Maybe when I dropped the player, but I hadn't noticed it until now, but it's going to be a good idea to replace it. So this one seems pretty stout, so it's not in too bad a shape. I need to clean it up a little bit, but I can do that after we do all of this. I want to show you how to do these knives and shelves. So you have the 2 knives. Here's one that looks like this, okay? And it's got this little section here. And when you go to install these, that's going to point down. Your shelves are made of Bakelite, and they're shaped like that, and they've got these little slots in them, and when you put everything together, they go in this way. It has this curved edge, and you want it to be this way, okay? This way. And when you put everything together, this tab on the knife is going to go into that slot on the shelf, okay? So we'll get there. But first, I have to take my big king-size jar of naphtha here, and we're going to dunk a swab into it, and we're going to clean the center shaft here. It's pretty, it almost looks like rust, but it's usually not. It's dried up grease or oil. So you just take some naphtha on a swab and you shove it in there, and that's what you get. So we'll take the other end, and we'll go to the top this time. You just kind of do that, just kind of smush it around in there. Okay, looks pretty good. See? So what I do is, I got 2 or 3 of these, and I just do it until it comes out fairly clean. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, you want to get a lot of that out of there, most of it if you can, you know. And you're going to start over with fresh oil when this is all said and done, so it's a good idea to get as much of this out of there as you can, so that everything's going to, you know, it's going to be clean and run and work the way it's supposed to. So we'll give it a couple of more of these real quick. It won't take too much time to, but that's better already, you know. And then we'll go this end one more time. And that's better. So we'll go with that. And you don't have to do anything else. That's going to evaporate fast enough where it's not going to be that big a deal. So what I like to do, this one's already been cleaned, but it's a good idea to take a paper towel and some of that naphtha and clean this shaft too before you start putting this back together. What I like to do is put it back in the player like that so that the shaft can drop in there without any problems. We're going to oil this after the fact. So you get this in there like that. Okay, put the shaft in there facing that direction, you know, in line with the screw holes. Then you take your two Bakelite shelves and these two little springs and you put those together like this, okay, like that. Okay. Springs in there, and then you put them in there around that shaft part like that, okay? And then you take your knives, there's two of them, and you're going to sort of interlock them so that they're sort of, not sort of, so that they're like this, okay, so that they can do this. And then you take, remember, you take those tabs and you have to get those tabs into those slots on the shelves or this isn't going to work right. So you have to kind of smush things around a little bit till it comes out looking like this, where the knives are pretty much all the way in and the shelves are barely sticking out, okay? Then you take your triangle shaped spring and you open it up very slightly. And you have to be careful with these because they can break. I had one break on me the first time I tried to do this video and I had to go scrounge up a part set. Okay, and you put it there like that, where it's attached to the knives that way. Okay, that's all ready to go. So what you do is you take your nose, and I have my nice bright red nose that I still need to polish, but it's okay. Sometimes it's easier if you get this thing spinning and you polish it as it's spinning, you know, let the motor do the work for you. Anyway, it's got a slot in there. And of course you can see where the screws go. So it's real easy to line this up. The screw holes are in the top of the spindle. You just line the screw holes up and you get that slot there and you just drop that on top like that and it falls right into place. So now put your finger on top and pick the whole thing up and turn it over and get your screws and drop them in there one at a time. Put your screwdriver back, okay? And kind of wiggle it around until it falls into the hole the way it's supposed to. Of course, this one doesn't want to. Let me start with the other one. Oh, it's because I didn't put it in the right spot. There's no hole there. Hang on. Yeah, that one dropped right in, so we'll get that in there. And don't over tighten them. These noses almost always have cracks inside, and it's not because they're over tightened, it's just because the plastic shrinks. And you have to kind of baby them a little bit, not over tighten things because you don't want to make it worse. They don't seem, the cracks don't seem to affect anything if you just kind of, there it goes. If you're just kind of careful with them, they'll be fine. So you just tighten it up till it's snug. And now that's all put together, okay? So the next thing you do is you take your oil. I use Zoom Spout for this, okay? And there's a hole here. There's a hole right there in this shaft. Hard to see in this light, I'm sorry, but it's right there. And you take, and stretch this out a little bit, you take a couple of drops of this oil, and that's all it takes. Just put a couple of drops in there. There's one, okay, there's two or so. Maybe just get one more, boom. And wipe off the excess. Once you get to where you're going to put all of your washers and bearings in here before you put it back together for good, you know, you'll want to grease or oil this part of the shaft too, but right now it's not necessary. So we're just about done here, and Put that oil away. What you have now is if you grab this shaft, pull down on it slightly and turn it, you can see those knives and shelves going in and out. Okay, just like they're designed to. See that? And that's your record dropping mechanism. And that's how you do that. So that's all, it's all oiled up. Just a couple of drops are all you need in there. And so now, there it is back, you know, ready to go. Like I said, you'll need the washers and the ball race, but we'll get to that. I just want to show you how to put this record dropping mechanism back together. I think that's going to be enough to make this a pretty long video, so we're going to call it quits on this segment, and I'll get this up on YouTube for you. And we will move on to rebuilding the record changer, because if I take this back off and show you this, there's obviously nothing's been done there. Like I said in a previous video, the only thing I've done is put the cam, the cycle cam in place, you know. So I need to put the whole thing together. But anyway, we're gonna get this done. I know a lot of people want to see the see this thing finished. I do too. I want to see how it sounds with the tone control and everything compared to a regular RCA 45 player. So anyway, there you go. I hope that was helpful. I think this obviously, I don't think obviously, I think I would have to say this went better than my first attempt at this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped. Stay tuned for the next part coming right up. I'm gonna try to get this done as fast as I can. So I'm gonna try to get these videos done in the next, week or so. So there you have it. Thanks for watching.